Welcome to the Bowel Chronicles, where we dive deep into the world of bowel health. I'm your host, Nikki Kilpatrick, and on this podcast we have raw and candid conversations with individuals facing various bowel conditions and illnesses. Through personal stories and shared experiences, we illuminate resilience and courage in the face of adversity. Be reminded that each story is personal and unique. These conversations are not to be taken as medical advice or to replace guidance from a doctor or healthcare provider. Our aim is to inspire and empower through these amazing stories, amplifying voices often unheard. So join us as we embark on this journey together. Sit back, listen, and be inspired. Enjoy the episode. Well, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bowel Chronicles. I'm your host, Nikki Kilpatrick, and today we're joined by the lovely Carolyn in Cork. Carolyn, it's so good to have you here to chat with us today.
It's fabulous to be here, Nikki. Thank you.
So guys, this is a completely different type of episode we are bringing you today. We're bringing you something wild, we are bringing you something fiery, we're bringing you something that hasn't even hit the shelves in the market yet. We are bringing to you the launch of a fabulous new product in the stoma world that is soon to be accessible. We're really excited to be able to share that with you today. Carolyn is the brains behind the Ostomy Cube. And I'm going to insert just a little picture at this point for you to have a look at. And then we will share some more video and details with you. So, Carolyn, you yourself have been living with a stoma for a number of years now. Why don't you kickstart by telling us a little bit about your journey, to give us some context as to how you have now designed a product. Why did you end up having to get a stoma?
Well, very similar story to yourself, Nikki. My condition, I have slow bowel transit. So I was battling, I have it obviously all my life, really. And for 13 years prior to my surgery, I was on extreme laxatives. So that was my life for 13 long, horrible years. Was different forms of laxatives, increasing different medications of laxatives and whatnot. I ended up on home irrigation systems, and they just got more intense and more intense. And when I look back at that time now, it was a really hard, horrible time. And I really didn't see the end of that time. I couldn't get past it because it just seemed like they were just increasing the medications, and that was the option. The ostomy surgery was mentioned to me in my 20s. I kind of, I suppose, ran away from it. And it was put to me back in that time. It was put to me very much like a threat, really. So when I'd say like, oh, you're just going to up the laxatives, you're just going to increase the laxatives. Well, the answer that I would get back is, well, we can go to the surgical department here. Like, so it was put to me like that. And so therefore I naturally ran away from it. This was before a time also where, thank God, ostomy seems to be more open and there's more awareness of it today. I was just going from what I was hearing from different doctors at the time, that it was just the worst case scenario. That the laxatives, the laxatives route and the medication route is your best option if you can stay there. So long story short, 13 years of that, I got to a point where nothing was working, and absolutely no quality of life at all. My son Jack was 12 at the time, and I was barely there for him. It was terrible. It really got really bad, and so then finally I got to a point where I was almost begging for this option, and so I had to wait a lot. It was a long year and a half before the surgery then, where I was really extremely packed up. I was thrown up every day. And finally, back in 2018, I had my ostomy surgery, and it was instant relief. It was absolutely instant relief. But I would say, and like I was surprised at the level of different the options you have with the ostomy bags and the products, and the different options you have, and the trial and error that goes on in the first few months was fantastic. But then it was a case of the adjustment of how do I come back into the world and learn independence with this ostomy. So I'm small in size, so I myself learned to pack the toilet with tissue and empty in a standing up position.
Hmm.
Um, and it was surprising, as I say, to me, how after this such a major surgery, people have to adjust, and it's a very personal adjustment. Like we're all different. So as I say, I was a small in size, so I was aiming and standing in front of a toilet. Taller people would kneel in front of a toilet, and then there'd be issues with the knees, and they'd have hacks like garden pillows and whatnot, and then the other people would
So
sit
this was all to empty your stoma bag.
yeah, there was just
So
that.
assuming,
Yeah,
so for our listeners and our watchers today, we're talking about Carolyn's stoma bag. Obviously, you were using the drainable bag. So
yeah.
can I just assume at this point you have an ileostomy, or is it
Ileostomy,
you have an
ileostomy.
ileostomy,
Yeah,
which is a stoma into your small bowel. A
yeah,
colostomy is into the large bowel. And what we tend to find is with an ileostomy, our output is more watery, it's more it's constant, it's a liquid form. So it's easier to empty your stoma bag and drain that. Whereas someone with a colostomy has a more formed output, and they maybe would just remove their bag and dispose of that in one go. Their bowel movement maybe only happens twice a day, some people every few days, but with an ileostomy, it's drip, drip, drip constantly. That's the kind of where we're at. So you're trying to work out all of these different like options. How do I empty this bag? Do I bend? Do I kneel? Do I squat?
yeah.
What do I do? And get it to work for you. And you're like working that out with other people of like, how do you do this?
Mm.
Yeah, it's
And it's that adjustment, and it was
mm,
I connected onto so many different private Facebook groups. That's where I learned all these different
mhm,
hacks, and not only learned what would meet my needs, but then
mm,
I was fascinated at how different we all are and how different we
yeah.
all approach ostomy life, and what works for one person doesn't work for another person, and it's definitely ostomy in itself. I seen it as a spectrum. Like
Mm,
you can't wake up from your surgery and no one person can tell you, do this, do this, do this, do. And that frustrated me.
mm,
But that said, the months passed and the recovery, as we all know, it's a slow process, and you're mentally and physically recovering together and learning how to come back. Um, but I got there. I wouldn't
mhm,
say I ever kind of got to full independence at that point, but I got there. I struggled on and I got there um, with the help of other ostomates. And so then a year after my surgery, I had regained my health so well, and I had got back into my own lifestyle so well, as I say, that I became pregnant. So I
right.
became pregnant with Ellie. Literally, it was 12 months directly after my surgery.
Wow.
And Ellie was a long awaited pregnancy.
Mhm,
I had given up on the dream, to be honest, because between the medications and the 13 years of laxatives, I just gave up. It was a terrible time, really, because
mhm,
it was horrendous. So now to have an ostomy and now to have a healthy pregnancy, I'm
mm,
pain free in this pregnancy. I'm drug free. I'm lax. Everything. It's like it was a dream.
mhm,
And so, and the pregnancy in itself was a very healthy pregnancy, and the birth was healthy. I know issues. There's a lot of issues around pregnancy with prolapse stomas and
mhm.
whatnot. I was very lucky. I had nothing like that.
Good. Yeah.
So it was a very straightforward, healthy pregnancy. That said, from 20 weeks on, I started to develop numbness in my fingers. So initially, I just thought I was losing the plot, really. I thought I was going, but it was just numbness in the tops of my fingers. And slowly but surely, it started to spread down each hand. So when I went to my midwife, now this was COVID time. This was
Yeah.
Ellie was so her birth was right in the middle of the second lockdown, I think it was. So this is COVID. So when I eventually got into the midwife, I was told I had carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands. That is
Okay.
in relation to the pregnancy. I'd never heard of carpal tunnel syndrome. I certainly had never heard of it in relation to a pregnancy. And
Mm,
what it is the carpal tunnel nerve or vein that's in your
yeah.
wrist. Swelling in pregnancy can cause pressure on that vein, and it can stop the blood circulation to your hands. Um,
Wow.
So what happens is your nerve endings, your blood circulation is gone in your hands. And what the midwife said to me at the time was, um, I can't really tell you this could just stop as it is now, and this is as severe as it's going to get.
Mhm.
Or it could get more severe. I can't say, but what I can say is because it was created with pregnancy, it will go when pregnancy is over, after your birth.
Wow.
So that was the path. So I didn't know at that point. So it was about, this is about 22, 23 weeks in. And slow and surely, sure enough, it got extreme. It got really extreme. Um, so what I found myself is all these hacks that I had found prior to the pregnancy to empty my ostomy, to care for my ostomy, were not working for me anymore because my hands, I was losing the function of both my hands. So simple things like emptying the bag now were so difficult and getting worse. Every single day getting worse because the
Okay.
sensation was going in my hands. So my brain would think, oh, I can empty my bag, but my hands were doing something different.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
within them weeks, the messes that I had made in my own bathroom were just, and also at the time I'm growing bigger, the bump is getting bigger, I'm getting deeper into this pregnancy.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, never mind. You're an ostomate. You're living life with a stoma. You're actually in this full-blown pregnancy, massive bump, still growing, and now your independence is kind
gone.
of
I'm
taken.
clawing onto it. From this point, I was literally clawing onto the independence. What I did find at that time was as we do, I connected to ostomates online.
Mhm.
And oh my God, like I'd put up comments and the inpouring of ostomates coming, messaging me privately saying, oh, my mother has arthritis in both hands and this is what she does. I come and I
Okay.
do her, like all these, like I had learned ostomy life hacks, but what I found was extreme ostomy life hacks. Simple
Yeah.
things like keep your cleaning products in your toilet because you're going to make it
Hmm.
you're going to make a mess.
Yes.
Um, empty into a jug. All these kinds of
Mm.
extreme, what I would consider at that point, extreme ostomy life hacks. And what I found was from the 20 weeks of the initial losing the sensation of my fingertips, by the time I got to 30 weeks, my sensation was gone in both hands. So all of these hacks were worthless to me at that point. So I had that experience of clawing onto the independence that I had learned,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, it just got more extreme and more extreme. So what had happened at around 30 weeks on, um, Stephen, my partner, there's absolutely no shame between myself and Stephen. We're together since I was 14. So there's it wasn't that that I was feeling, but it was just the horrendous feeling of Stephen having to take over my ostomy care. It destroyed, I have to be honest, it destroyed the end of my pregnancy. It really
But this
did.
is like you've gone from 13 years of laxatives
Mm,
and living through all of that, those scenarios of being in extreme pain,
mm,
going through the difficulty, your other half being there for you. You go through surgery, you get your life back, you get independence back, and now all of a sudden that's being taken off you again. Like that, I can remember a scenario with myself and my hubby, and as much as we have a very open relationship and we talk and discuss everything,
mm.
it's like you become vulnerable
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
those that you have the most intimate experiences with, but you become extremely vulnerable in those moments. And it's like, this is my bathroom space. This is where I don't have to have anyone else in here because I've got this thing that's changed my life and I can deal with it. And now
Mm,
my independence is completely gone. I get
mm.
that must have been such a really uh
Too
horrendous
hard.
experience,
Yeah.
for it to be taken off you to all of a sudden you're helpless and someone else has to come in and look
And
after
yeah.
your needs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it was the fight, I think, was the killer. The fight of the few weeks beforehand, the fight of I can empty into the jug and I can just keep cleaning up every time I empty. I mean when I say clean up, and then I was doing things like I'm pregnant, and I'm not unfortunately for myself, I'm not a small pregnancy, I explode, my nose gets bigger, so I am huge. And
Yeah.
so there was so many different factors, but it was the fact of the fight for the weeks beforehand to remain independent and just having to give up that fight. My two hands,
Mm.
like I couldn't pick up a cup of coffee. It was so bad. Um, so Stephen, God bless him, he took over the ostomy care, and I wasn't so bad really when he'd do a bag change, but it was the draining was just terrible, and it was horrendous. And what it was, the hardest part was, this is such a pregnancy that we were so blessed to get this pregnancy. I'd wrote it off, like and I was so grateful for my ostomy because of this pregnant, because it enabled me to carry
Mm.
Ellie, but I couldn't enjoy it. It was gone. It was just like, come on, hurry up, and um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so then, as I say, no long, trying to get the long story short, so finally I had Ellie. As I say, natural birth, everything was fine, everything was grand. It was COVID, so Stephen was ushered into the labour wards, like I'd say about 40 minutes before her actual arrival.
Mm.
So there was a struggle there, but she was born naturally. And then I think it was 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and he was ushered back out. He wasn't allowed to go down to the ward. But what was fascinating was, um, so a few hours later, I'm kind of surfacing. I have my newborn next to me. It's
Mhm.
COVID, as I say, we're on our own in the room. And I think, oh God, my ostomy. Do you know what am I going to do here? I have to drain. I have to. So they brought in the tea and the toast, and of course, then I'm thinking, oh God, here she goes. She's going to start now. Rosie is her name. Um, and so I have to drain, and I have to hopefully do a bag change. And so I went in, and my hands, I wouldn't say they were back, but there was an instant improvement. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was mad. Like it was just, they weren't bad. Like I had sensation. I could do something with them. But it was an instant improvement. So I managed to drain okay. Say no, I had to clean up after myself, but I managed to drain okay. And then as the weeks went on, when Ellie was a newborn, it just kept getting better, kept getting better. And to the point where I'd say she was around 2 weeks when I had full independence. And
Good.
so Stephen is like, this is great, this is brilliant. Baby's perfect,
Yeah.
you're perfect, everything's, and Stephen's delighted. And I'm looking at him going, yeah, but this is a situation where most people don't get their independence back. Like I've
Mm.
experienced this lack of independence, and I'm as grateful as I am for my ostomy. I love my ostomy. It's given me my life back. It's given me my baby, my Ellie. Um, but I hated the fact that no one knew what other people go through. An awful lot of our elderly community, an awful lot of our
Mm.
disability community. There's so many other factors, and I've experienced this. And without that
Yes.
experience, I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But it was
Mm.
that lived experience that I couldn't get out of my head. And I couldn't just jump in and say, oh, well, I'm grand, so fair enough, and whatever. I couldn't do it. So I think Ellie was around 5, 6 weeks old when Stephen, at that point, I think he thought I had postnatal depression because I couldn't get out of my own mind about this. But I didn't. It was just I couldn't come away from it. And every time I do a bag change or a drain, and I'd have that independence, I would think of all the people that reached out to me about their arthritis and how they do it and how they empty into
Mhm.
jugs and whatnot. And finally, anyway, we were sitting out our back garden. It was summertime, and Stephen started turning the conversation around into, but what would these people need? Like, what would what would you have needed, Carolyn, to have that independence? Like, if in an ideal world, would it be a wet room? Would it be a higher toilet? What would it need? And I think
Mhm.
he was just doing what Stephen does all my life. He was just trying to fix my situation. He was just trying to help
Yeah.
me. And
Mhm.
he knew now at this point that she's not going to let this go. So he knew it was like, right, well, she's back to herself, but this is mentally playing on her. So he was
Mm.
just trying to come up with a solution. But what that conversation started was, what is the solution? What is the solution for this? And it snowballed. And then we kept speaking about it. And it started turning into actively going into B&Q and Woodies and DIY places. And, um, as Ellie was learning to walk, she was learning to walk in these DIY places because our life was consumed about, well, how do you turn someone's bathroom ostomy friendly? How do
Mm-hmm.
you do that? And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, for a few months it was concept, it was trying to figure out. I was thinking I could pick something off the shelf and I could just tell people how I'm doing this and whatnot, but slowly but surely I started to realize we have to actually make something has to be made. So as I'm researching all of these things, I came across there's ostomy friendly toilets in Japan for 20 plus years. And I started, as I say, now this is back in 2020, and I started to research what these are and, oh, fair enough, and can we get our hands on these and what are they and how do they work? And I figured out they're fabulous, they're brilliant, isn't it amazing? But they're not accessible, they're not on the market. They're big bathroom adaptations. I couldn't put these in my home. Even if I got one from Japan, if I got to Japan, if I physically got these back, because that's where I was kind of going with it, I wouldn't be able to put it in my home.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to get my boss to put it in the accessibility toilet easily. They're not accessible.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave me the idea of where I was going with it. Oh, there
Mm-hmm.
is such a thing as ostomy friendly toilets, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not, you know, it's not easy to adapt. And then as the time went on, I found that in Spain for many years now, there's brilliant organizations. One in particular is Ostobanos, they're called, where they're creating ostomy friendly spaces in
Mm-hmm.
most of the Spanish airports and a lot of Spanish hospitals and some on beaches and everything, and they're fabulous. Um, and the pride that I've seen they bring to other ostomates when they see the
Yeah.
sign for ostomy friendly toilets is the power behind it. But again, these toilets aren't they couldn't naturally easily go into an existing bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found them toilets the same as in Japan, I thought, "Oh, here's our solution," but it wasn't the solution because I couldn't have bought this as an estimate. I couldn't have. All
Mm-hmm.
right, so off I kept going on the journey. Um, and in between that time, I must have Googled how do I make something from scratch in Cork City in Ireland, and the Rubicon Centre popped up. And the Rubicon Centre it's connected to the MTU College in Cork, and they're an entrepreneurial incubator product development centre. They're a bit of everything really, and
Mm-hmm.
it's product development really is where we're at with it. But so I connected to the Rubicon Centre, and I um Paul Healy, wonderful man, Paul Healy, answered my call, and I had a phone call with Paul Healy, and I kind of just told him exactly what I just told you, and Paul said, come out, and we have a conversation. So at this point, I have little clippets of what I want. I want this. We need a mirror. We need a shelf. We have little clippets of the concept of what I believe we need, and brought them all out to Paul. And Paul told me, my big question to Paul was at this point, I didn't really know. I have no background in engineering or business or anything. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, can I do this? Can this happen? Can I do this? And Paul looked at me and he was like, you can, if you have enough passion behind you, Carolyn, and you know this to be true and this should happen, and you can do anything. You can make anything in this world. No, this world that we live in now, you can make anything. And the power was is I 100% knew and believed what he was saying that day, and it gave me the
Yeah.
power to move on because I didn't know if I could do
Mm-hmm.
this. I didn't know if this was something that could be done. I really genuinely didn't know what. And Paul enabled me, if you like, that day to keep going. And he connected me to the New Frontiers program. And the New Frontiers program literally gives you the tools you need to do this, to make this product that's in your mind, to make it visible.
Okay. Yeah.
And so Paul then at that point connected me to Tyke Hurley. And Tyke Hurley is an amazing man. He's an engineer and he's based in Cork City, and he's the owner of Mass Precision Engineering. And Tyke went out, myself and Stephen went out to Tyke and sat down and told him exactly why we're here and how we're here and what we want to do. And Taik was like, well, this is a big project. This is plumbing, this is
Mm-hmm.
electric, this is water. And but he, and along with being an amazing engineer, he has a profound he's very he could feel, you can feel the empathy from Taig, and he has a big heart, and he really couldn't walk away from the need that there was a need for this product. Um, so as much as it was a big project, and Taig's a busy man, he so generously gave me his time, and over the years that time has turned my idea, my notion into reality, thanks to Taig. And Taig then connected us to Consort Cases. They're based in Waterford in Ireland. And same way, Stephen Kempton of Consort Cases, the owner of Consort Cases, I went up to him and told Stephen what I've been doing, and Stephen, the same way, said, well, whatever we need to do, we're going to do. We're going to get this product for you, so that you can work with it. So along with that, we worked with innovation vouchers, which are supplied by Enterprise Ireland, and they connect you to the colleges, so the engineering departments within the colleges that will help you with 3D printing, and CAD design, and so there's a lot of help out there for product development. But I do think it's brilliant that it's kind of like there's so many people, and there was one thing that I asked very early on. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, I don't know who I was asking. I'm not religious or anything like that, but I was just saying, just put the right people around me. Just put the
Mm-hmm.
right people around me, and this will happen. And it happened. The right people came around me, because I would not have been able to do this on my own, And
Mm-hmm.
every time I needed help in any way, someone else popped up, between Paul or Tyke or Stephen, or it was
Mm-hmm.
mad. And I know yourself, Nikki.
Well, it's just a clarification of like, am I supposed to do this?
Yeah.
Will it work? And here you are. It's coming to fruition. So it's like,
Yeah, it's
told ya.
It's, and
You.
it was that question, and there was a repetition of that. Put the right people around me. Put the right people around me, and I still say it. Put the right people
Yeah.
around me, um, and so that's where we're at. But so it's since last September, I have an ostomy cube hanging installed in my own bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and we have changed it. We have it's a 3D print. The top of it is a 3D print, so we have changed the design. We've been working with um, we've been changing the 3D print, and so the little changes in the plumbing and the electrics and whatnot have been going on since last September. But we're finally at a point where we are this summer rolling out the first small batch of ostomy
Mm-hmm.
cubes. And so we're starting off with the first small batch. Nikki, you're going to take on one of the first installations, and you're going to kind of document the good and the bad. The good and the bad. We're
Mm-hmm.
learning as we go, and I think that's the key to this whole journey. Is everything is learning. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to document your installation, and then also I connected with Health Innovation Hub Ireland, which
Mm-hmm.
is a kind of a bridge between innovation and the HSE. So we are installing an ostomy cube in the Mercy Hospital in Cork City, in a gastroenterology ward, and it will be used and monitored by the stoma team, the stoma therapy nurses. Will use that ostomy cube, and it'll be piloted with the help of the Health Innovation Hub Ireland, and then it's a medical clearance, really. It's that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're going with. Along with that, now that the ostomy cube is on the wall and we have product and we can put it out there, my job now, I've put on a different hat of, I'm figuring out what grants I can get access for people. Um, so in Ireland, there is a housing adaptation grant, and it's supplied by your local city, your local council, and it's for €6,000. And we're hoping, well, I know that we will get in under that grant, because we meet all the criteria. The Ostomy Cube meets all the criteria. So, but it's going through that process. So that's what we're doing along with the pilot program. We're going through that process to make sure this is easy and accessible for all ostomates. And the grant is means tested, but we're looking into all sides of that. So I suppose that's the new shift in the direction is making sure that this is accessible for all. But as I say, that's where we're going in. That's the direction we're going in with the
Mm.
Ostomy Cube. But as I say, I was saying it to yourself, Nikki, that like I'm completely and utterly, and I know it sounds terrible because I like it's in a way it's come from me, so I can't live without the Ostomy Cube now. I can't live without the Ostomy Cube now. I don't like emptying into a toilet. I don't like changing my bag without it. It's
So
simple.
let's talk about the ostomy cube because we keep mentioning the ostomy cube. Let's talk through what does this cube. So well, we'll have a photograph on the screen there, and we are going to pop in a video of the ostomy cube. Verbally tell us what is this ostomy cube? What is it?
So the Ostomy Cube is it's a small cube-shaped toilet facility.
Hmm.
It's not a shower, it's not a toilet, it's an ostomy cube. It's an ostomy toilet facility. So you can drain your bag, you can wash your stoma, you can it's all in around. It is connected to the bathroom sink. So it's
Hmm.
connected to the bathroom sink, very similar to how an awful lot of dishwashers are connected to the kitchen sink, plumbing
Hmm.
wise and electric wise, you know. So it's connected in that sense. Um, so it sits very neatly will sit very neatly in most toilets, really.
Okay.
It's 45 centimeters wide, and that's with the shelf opened at the side.
Hmm.
Um, and as I say, you can drain your bag into the ostomy cube. It's for all ostomates. It's for ureostomates, ileostomates, colostomates, because inside the casing of the cube is a maciator pump, and that maciator pump um, makes it extremely hygienic. It's actually more hygienic to empty into an ostomy cube than it is into a toilet.
Hmm.
It takes away smell instantly. You don't have that lingering ostomy smell because the pump drags everything down.
Hmm.
Um, it's you're not stooping, you're not bending. In your own home, you can match your cube to your ostomy height.
Hmm.
In an accessibility toilet, in a public space, we're going to match that to the average abdomen height, similar to how they installed sinks. The
Hmm.
sink is the average hand height.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a kind of a rundown really of the cube in itself. But as I say, we've made it as small as we can to ensure that it can go into any bathroom, big or small,
Yeah.
even into an ensuite.
So it has like the mirror attached to it. It has the normal tap, hot and cold water on it, and then it also has like the wee, what I call it, a stoma shower attachment on the side of it. It's got hooks on one side of it and a shelf on one side of it. Everything that you ideally need to stand at your height with your ostomy and rest your stoma bag into it, remove it, set it to the side, set it into the sink, get rid of the waste into that sink, hit the pump button, it sucks it away instantly. You've got a clean surface there to continue to wash your stoma, shower your stoma without getting into a physical shower. For toxic, if you have a bag leak during the night, it's like, oh, I don't have to fully strip and get into the shower. You can stand at this sink and you can hose your stoma down and just clean it. So this facility is absolutely incredible. The first time you reached out to me and showed it to me, I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, I need this. This is a game changer. And why did I say that? Because for the last number of years, I've been traveling to Egypt on holiday. I had a fear of going on holiday because I like to rinse drain my bag. From day one of having my stoma, this was something that I just knew I needed to do. Of like, I want my bag to kind of be washed out all of the time. I want it to be fresh. I don't want it to be mucky around the drainable spout. And so I was using a plastic water bottle to kind of rinse drain my stoma bag, and or shimmying in below my tap if I could in my ensuite, and just keeping it clean. And I went to Egypt on holiday, and oh my goodness, they had a bidet hose on the back of the toilet, and I just thought, this is a game changer. Like, I need one of these. I kept saying to my husband, I need one of these. And it wasn't just in our hotel, it was everywhere we went to that had a toilet. Even on a boat trip, their toilets had these hoses on the back. And I just thought, this is such an amazing idea. And oh my goodness, you contacted me a number of months ago, and with this idea of this was now coming to fruition. You've been living with the Ostomy Cube in your home, and how did I feel about it? What were my thoughts behind it? And I was just like, I need one. Like, I need one. This is something that everybody has to be able to access
Mm.
because it's a game changer. It is
Yeah,
giving you that convenience. It's bringing that convenience back to you that has kind of been taken away. Although your stoma can be a game changer and it brings life back to you, the actual convenience of going to the toilet can be taken away in that. So this does make things a lot easier. Um, since then, my husband spent a few pennies and put a little hose onto our ensuite bathroom. But we made that decision after I had had a conversation with yourself whenever you asked me, would I be part of your pilot scheme for the first five ostomy cubes being rolled out? And oh my goodness, I still get emotional thinking of this because I'm like, why me? Why would you even ask me? But I suppose we've built up this friendship over the last couple of years. And I totally get the Ostomy Cube. I totally get everything it stands for and where you're going. I mean, we had a conversation there about, where do you want to see this going? Where do you see this going? And your words were, when you go to a toilet, an accessible toilet, and you see it's an accessible toilet. So if we think of the logo of it's usually a person in a wheelchair, it's a disabled friendly facility, that's recognized worldwide. But what would that
mhm,
mean for someone with an ostomy to go to a bathroom and see the Ostomy Cube logo on the door?
yeah,
Like, that. uh, I have a very good friend who's had this stoma. She's had her stoma for 13 years and she refuses to use a disabled friendly bathroom, an accessible
yeah,
bathroom, even though, stomas, we are classed as, it's a
yeah,
disability.
mhm,
People don't like to recognize that they have a disability.
yeah,
Also, we carry the shame behind it's not visible. Not everybody
yeah,
can see it. And we don't want to be challenged when we go and we use those
yeah.
facilities because that's awkward and nobody likes
That's true.
confrontation. So
Mm.
what would that mean for someone like me or you to go to a toilet that has an
Mhm.
Ostomy Cube logo on the door,
Yeah,
walk up to that and just go, huh, that's a toilet for me. I
yeah,
don't have to get my stoma out here. I don't have to explain that to anyone. That logo is
yeah,
enough on that door. Sadly, the
mhm,
accessible toilet should be enough, but it's
yeah.
not.
It's
So
not.
having something like the Ostomy Cube fitted into your toilet, accessible for everyone, there's no shame, there's no embarrassment. That is a toilet, that is for us. And that's ultimately your dream, is that this is accessible for
Yeah,
everyone.
100%.
Publicly, personally, in their homes,
Yeah,
that this is an adaptation that will only benefit you. And I
yeah,
suppose Adam and I made the decision of, right, we're going to fit this little stoma hose into our ensuite because my dream is, I've lived in this house for 10 years. I've had my stoma for over 2 years, and I've not had a pee in my main bathroom for 2 years
mhm,
because I can't
yeah.
empty my stoma bag in there. I can't. I could, but I'd have to have a
It's
hose.
awkward.
I would have to have water. The sink is very, very wide. I couldn't actually be
Yeah,
able to get in to do everything that I want to do. It's a
yeah.
different height, for me kneeling and whatever. It's just not comfortable.
Mm.
But if there's an ostomy cube in that bathroom, which
Mhm,
my bathroom allows for the space,
mm,
it changes everything for me.
mm.
It gives
Yeah,
me somewhere that I can go comfortably. and I can change my bag. I can rinse drain my bag. I don't have to run up and down my stairs.
Yeah.
Everything is there and it's accessible for me. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not taking away from the fact of this is an adaptation. And sometimes I don't want to see myself as being a disabled person.
Yeah.
I tend to see
Yeah.
my stoma as being something that has enabled me, that
Yeah.
enables me to do a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I have to get over myself. So this
Yeah.
is an adaptation into my bathroom,
Yeah.
but it is compact. It's a
It
lovely
is.
little sink unit.
Yeah.
It's pretty compact and I don't need to remove my main sink. Some
No.
people, like I know in your own bathroom, you removed your bigger sink, you put in a slightly smaller sink with your
Smaller sink.
Ostomy
Yeah.
Cube. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are ways and means
There is.
around
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
this.
Hmm.
And then it's getting that brain to think in sync with what is actually happening.
Yeah.
In sync. See what I did there? We're talking about this ostomy sink, where it has the emaciator attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I already know from using my stoma hose in my toilet when I do
Hmm.
a bag empty, as soon as I don't let that output linger around the sides of the toilet. I get it with the hose and I get it
Yeah.
into the water straight away. That helps eliminate a lot of the smell.
Right.
So I think with emaciator, how much more better is that
Gone.
going to be? Like,
Absolutely gone. Yeah. And I think that's something that it was an addition onto, there's so many different things that I've found since the cube is on the wall since September that I went, oh yeah, it completely takes away the smell completely, instantly.
mhm.
It's mad. Like and it's that Maciata pump is the key to
Yeah.
it. Um, it's just that simple adaptation. Now there people do need to look at their toilets and see how it's going to fit. It's very small. It's very similar in a bathroom layout because there's no such thing as an ostomy cube until now. In a
Mhm.
bathroom layout, it's very similar to a bidet in a lot of the Spanish toilets have bidets when we go
Yeah.
on holidays,
Mhm.
we've seen them. So and the bidet would sit between the toilet and the sink an awful lot of the time. So
Mhm.
it's similar to that. Um,
Yeah.
as I say, in my own bathroom, we had a larger sink that we to get that space that was needed for the cube. We changed the larger sink to a smaller kind of closet sink, as they call it,
Mhm.
and then the cube fitted nicely in between the sink and the toilet.
Yeah.
But as I say, I'd say it was a few days into the installation in my own home that I realized how dependent I was on it. It's crazy because,
Mhm.
and then you start to realize how much ostomy life and the inconvenience of ostomy life takes from your day-to-day life.
Mhm.
And I'm talking now as an able-bodied, I'm
Yeah.
40,
Yeah.
an able-bodied ostomate, but my mind will always go back into that carpal tunnel syndrome,
Yes. Yes.
where I wasn't an able-bodied ostomate, and the introduction to the ostomy cube for them ostomates
Mm.
is just it's where my heart is. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
that said, we all deserve the convenience. We all deserve the
Mhm.
convenience. We've all battled something to get us to this ostomy journey,
Mhm.
ostomy life. So we
100%.
all deserve the convenience. Um, but it's fascinating to me that there's things about the cube that I even didn't see. And I think everyone is going. The beauty of the cube is every estimate will use their cube differently. Like for example, you rinse drain, I rinse drain myself,
Mhm.
but some people don't rinse drain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the cube, it's still very much for them. They're going to use their cube, but in a different way.
Mhm.
Um, some people have pouches where they're not draining their bag, but they're still have their ostomy care. They're
Mhm.
still caring for their stoma. So the cube is not, and as I say, the demonstration will go up, and the demonstration is me showing how I use the cube. But
Mhm.
every ostomate is going to use the cube differently. And
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
the journey of developing the ostomy cube, I was lucky enough with the onset of the New Frontiers program, I went through two courses of customer discovery in developing the Ostomy Cube. All new to me again. Do you know, this is all new to me. But through that journey of customer discovery, I interviewed many ostomates. Not talking about the ostomy cube, not talking about the product, but just asking and interviewing them in and around their ostomy life and how
Mm,
what the pain points are for them individually around their ostomy life. So I did that for 6 weeks, and I did a number of so many different interviews with so many different ostomates, young, old, disabled, every imaginable, as I can say. But and then after that, I did a second customer discovery process where I interviewed medical professionals, so both stoma nurses, um, carers, both family carers, professional carers, and found the pain points again from their
mm,
point of view. And the cube has been developed and designed to meet all.
mm,
And I think that's the beauty of it. And anything that was excess, we took away. Anything that was a necessity, we added on. And we made it as compact as we can to make it as to make it as easy fit for any space as we could.
mm,
But there's been a long 5 years of that development, and I'm just buzzing now to finally have it to the point where we can start putting out the first batch, and
mhm,
I can let your journey start coming back, and your experience and how do you use your
mhm,
cube, and I've no doubt other people are going to put larger mirrors up, or they're going to put
mm,
their stickers on it, or they're going to whatever happens, however it sits
yeah,
in your bathroom.
mhm,
But it's about individuality, but it's about
yeah,
meeting our needs. I think the bags and the ostomy accessories have come on so many. There's so many wonderful engineering properties that have gone on in the last few years around even the development of the surgery in itself. It's all done
mm,
through keyhole. An awful lot of time it's done through keyhole now, and
yeah, yeah,
there's so much development gone on to make our community of ostomates to enable us and make us stronger and make us come
mhm,
back. But I feel that we are still stooping over a toilet or sitting awkwardly back to a
mm,
toilet, or we're still coming out of the surgery and pulling mirrors off the wall. And well, how do I change my bag in my home
mm,
environment? My dream and the vision is that if you are lucky, like we were, to have a selective surgery, and beforehand
mhm,
that you will be able to pre-order your ostomy cube and install it into your home and adapt your
mm,
home before
yes,
that.
yeah,
Or if you wake up from a surgery, like many do, with a
mhm,
bag, that you can go home, you can adapt your home to meet your needs. And
yeah,
when the time comes, and hopefully it'll come for many, that they can get back into the workplace,
mm,
that they can say to their boss, well, I want my work environment adapted now to meet my needs.
yes,
Because
yes,
that's what I feel, and I'm passionate about the fact that we shouldn't be brought into an environment without our needs being met. And there's too many of us kneeling on the floor, and there's
mm,
too many of us trying to adjust. And so
yeah.
that's what the Ostomy Cube really is about.
So we were saying there we're finally then at the stage of the pilots being rolled out. So in the next couple of months, there will be one coming to Belfast to be installed, and I will be sharing publicly on social media the installation, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as they say. The entire process of what this looks like to have an ostomy cube installed in your home. The upheaval in the bathroom if there's going to be any. I'm joking because it is minimal. You've assured me that it is minimal. But just to be able to publicly share that, behind the scenes, I've always been someone on social media who, um, well, as you know, I'm authentic. I am myself. As you see me here is how you will see me in the flesh, and
Yeah.
I will be showing that in my own home, what that process is like, and then when it comes to finally being able to use it and what my experience is like, and answer all of the questions that the public will have, and share my experiences. I am so flipping excited. I'm so excited that I will be able to use my main bathroom. And I guess in my head, living with a stoma, it's been a game changer for me. It's given me my life back, like yourself, Carolyn, after a number of years. Um, and it allows me to do things that I couldn't do before. But that doesn't mean I don't wake up or I do a bag empty and I think about the future of, this is me and you, Winnie, this is mine's called. It's me and you forever. Like, I'm 47, I don't call myself old, but I'm gonna be getting older. What is this gonna be like? How am I gonna manage? How am I gonna empty a bag, squat, kneel, bend. The older
Mhm.
you get, will I always rinse, drain? I feel like I will. What is it going to be like the older I get? So my own nan had a stoma bag and she was always bedridden. She wasn't able to empty her own stoma bag. There was no draining for her. It was my grandpa that looked after her, but here I am given this opportunity of having this cube installed in my home, which is going to help me the older I get, that I will be able to stand there. I will be able to, wash my stoma down in the one place. It's on ground level. We bought this house with the idea of there was a downstairs bedroom. One day I might have to be in that bedroom. And all of this is like planning for the future, as it
Yeah.
were, to enable me to
Yeah.
make things convenient.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's exciting, absolutely exciting. I'm thrilled to be able to share that on my social media. So you'll be able to stay tuned, folks, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok as well. The handles will be below. Also, Carolyn has a group running there on the Ostomy Cube, so there will be a little
Mm.
invite link below. If you're interested in joining that group to hear what's going on, all of those handles will be posted below. Carolyn, is there anything else you can think of that we should be linking below in the show notes?
No, really, no. To be honest, we are, as I say, we're setting up a website at the minute, so that should
Hmm.
be up and that should be live within the next few days.
Hmm.
Um, it's as I say, it's all learning as we
Yeah.
go,
Hmm.
and I want to open our journey now out
Yeah.
to so other ostomates can see that
Mm.
journey happening in real time, and I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
what your installation is all about.
Yeah.
And the reason that I think it's I love the fact that you're the first of our installations is because you've given so much of your time to other housemates and you're genuinely out there, not just online. Your online videos have helped me so much, but you're out there organizing meetups and everything under the sun. And it's that genuine empathy that you hold for other
Hmm.
housemates is
Yeah.
it stands out to me and it stood out to me for the last 2 years as we connected.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
delighted that you're the one that's going to show other estimates exactly the power of the cube because I know at the minute the power of the cube,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to share with yourself and everyone else. So,
No, and
yeah.
I think we were saying like you're so difficult, you're so hard on yourself at times. You're like, you've carried this passion for 5 years, you've seen this product, you've built it from scratch and you've got to 5 years and you almost like you listen to that voice in your head sometimes and you're like, shut up, Carolyn.
Always,
And
always.
you need to let that passion show. And
Oh,
I know what your passion is. I've seen the passion, I've heard the passion from you, and I get it. And I know what this Ostomy Cube means. My goodness, I used to get excited over a water bottle, rinse drain in my stoma. It improved to or improvised to a hose. I went to Liverpool a couple of weekends ago. I think I said this to you. I came back, I found myself rinsing my stoma. I went, oh my God, I missed you all weekend. Like,
and
it's
that's
those
what I
little
found
things.
is them hacks that we all
Yeah.
start off with, or what ostomy hacks worked for me.
Yeah.
Them hacks, I don't think without my experience of the carpal tunnel syndrome and that, I think them hacks, we all get a kick when we find the water bottle or we
Yeah.
find this, oh, this is going to improve my life. But when I lost the ability and the of for all them hacks, I realized this isn't good enough. They're not good enough, and we shouldn't have
Yeah.
to work with them
Yeah.
things.
Hmm.
Um, and it's them that adjustment and that development of not this isn't good enough
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what has brought the cube and has put it on the wall.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but as I say, I cannot wait to be able to have the first 10. So we're starting off with
Yeah.
the first 10 and to have other people's experience and have
Hmm.
people discover the ostomy cube for what it
Yeah.
is, and
Yeah.
because and as I say, I try to shut myself up in my head, but it is phenomenal the difference it makes. It
Yeah.
really is,
Yeah.
and it takes the inconvenience out of your ostomy life.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
without the cube now, when I do my shopping or whatnot, and I have to empty into a toilet, I'm like, oh God, it's mad how
Yeah.
you adjust.
Mhm.
to the Ostomy Cube. So as I say, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear other
Yeah,
people's experience.
I find myself getting not complacent, but I'm just like I refuse to empty anywhere else. If I was out shopping, so I used to carry around in my rucksack. I used to carry around an Inco sheet, and that was in case I used to have to kneel down, and then I was just like,
Yeah.
no, I'll squat. But I've seen myself squat in many positions. On the boat, traveling backwards and forwards, trying to empty a stoma bag.
Um, and
It's
it, and
just
it's something we
ridiculous.
just we just adjust to and we just get on with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But it's the ostomates that can't adjust and can't get
yeah.
on with it. And I
That's
think
it.
they're voiceless. And
Yeah,
and I think the rest of us know that have been using these hacks now have to kind of say, well, as you say, and I've heard this conversation in an awful a lot of the time where you be in ostomy support groups online. A lot of ostomates fear old age and how is
yeah,
this going to look in 20 years and
yeah,
how am I
yeah,
going to do. And it's a big concern or
yeah.
when life happens, you break your hand, or there's something else, there's some other health
Yeah,
complaint kicks in.
mm,
That's when it get our pregnancy,
yeah, yeah,
it becomes difficult.
mhm,
But as I say, I can't wait to
yeah,
share it and it's the next few months now and the final developments
yeah.
really of it. Yeah.
Just before we wrap up, there is one other thing. There's a little device that comes with the Ostomy Cube. I wanted to kind of touch on because there's actually a lady that I'm friendly with. She's a permanent wheelchair user, and I know that she really would benefit from the Ostomy Cube. But so when we come to like high output,
Mm.
how do we measure high output? How do we handle that? So knowing how the ostomy cube works, I'm like, this would be the absolute best thing for you. It could be at wheelchair height. You could be
Mhm.
able to empty into this. It's very, very accessible for you. But with the ostomy cube comes a little measure plug. So let's quickly talk about the measure plug and what that looks
So the
like.
measure plug came about when I was doing my rounds of customer discovery. I discovered now, as I say, I personally I had to measure just directly after my surgery. I had to measure my output then, but not really. I wouldn't have how high output, even though I'm an ileostomate. But because of my condition being slow bowel transit,
Mm-hmm,
my output tends to be thicker at times.
mm-hmm,
Um, but in the summer months, I would my output would flow. So I've had them times, but an awful lot of ostomates out there have to measure their output.
mm-hmm,
And I discovered that within all these different interviews. And I thought, wait now, so you're telling me if I create this toilet facility, that there's going to be a large number of ostomates out there that are still measuring, that are still going to be emptying into a jug, taking the measurement and pouring it into the cube. That wasn't sitting well with me at all.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I started thinking about putting the measurement, oh, we just put a measurement up the side of the cube or what have you. But then you need to clog, you need to you need to turn it into a bowl. You need to have that facility. So we slowly but surely developed the measure plug. So the measure plug is exactly what it says, what it is. It's a plug and it has a measurement coming up the front of the plug. And it's just an easy, simple way of measuring your output. Now, what I found as an ostomate that doesn't need to measure their output, just having the accessibility to the measure plug and clocking, being able to easy clock what exactly is coming out of my body every single day. My
Mm-hmm.
hydration levels have never been so good because I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what to put in. Um, so that just that accessibility and that ease is it's improved my health as someone that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a high output. So I can't
Yeah,
wait to get that to someone that has to measure their output all the time and then clean out a jug or whatever hack they're using.
yeah,
But the measure plug is the answer to that. Also, being able to empty the contents of your bag and you can physically see the contents of your bag much easier than you could gives you huge indications of where your stoma is, and it's indicated to me foods that I can digest and foods that I can't digest. Like for a long time I thought I was grand with salad. Now I know since I have a cube I can have maybe one or two salads a week, but if I have too many I have that hard pressure behind my stomach, and I now know it's because we've had too many salads, you know?
yeah, yeah.
There's discovery within the cube that will help just helps your everyday life
Mhm.
outside of draining and changing and ostomy
Yeah.
care,
Yeah.
just your flow of your ostomy in itself.
Mhm.
But um, the measure plug was the development of just talking to other ostomates really and figuring out.
Yeah, I have to admit, at first I was like, a measure blog, like what's that all about?
Yeah,
That wouldn't be of any benefit to me because, like yourself, of slow
yeah,
transit.
mm,
But I can remember measuring after surgery. But I can also remember quite a few times where I've been unwell on antibiotics, and with antibiotics for me, that means extreme high output,
yeah,
a very watery output. And as soon as I have got dehydrated twice, it has happened in 2 years where it's been severe. And I'm
yeah,
talking inside 20 minutes, where you're emptying a full bag every 20 minutes, and over a 2 hour period, it's like 2 liters. The first time it happened, and I heard my stoma working, I was like, what is actually going on? And it was like pure, the only way I can describe it was like dirty paint water. If you were a
yeah.
child and you were washing your paintbrushes in a tub,
Completely
that's what it was
functional. Yeah,
like. It completely, yeah, it just goes through. And I can
yeah,
remember going, I don't even know how much my stoma bag holds.
yeah,
So what I did in that 5 minute window was fill my bag up with
yeah,
water and measured the water to see.
yeah.
I was like, right, now I know. And then I realized, oh, crikey, I'm like getting dehydrated here. And then the next thing, I was collapsing on the bathroom floor, and my hubby was like, we've got to take you to hospital. And I was extremely dehydrated. But
Yeah.
I had no idea how much output my stoma
Yeah.
bag held at that time. So by emptying into the ostomy cube, using the measure plug to see, I would be able to keep an eye on it really, really
100%.
quickly of
And it's
like,
easier.
oh,
And this is a lot of the time with me, whenever I talk to a stoma nurse or what have you, and a few like so there'd be a few occasions where stoma nurses have said to me, how many bags do you empty in a day? I think we a lot of us get that. How many bags do you
yeah,
empty and how many bags do you empty in a night? Blah blah blah. The fact is that each bag contains, like you said, you found out the measurement of your specific bag, but each
yeah,
bag contains different volume levels, so it's a kind of it's two guess when you're talking about dehydration and you're talking about um someone, as you say, hitting the
yeah,
floor because of
yeah,
dehydration. It can impact you so much. It's a simple device,
yeah,
that I think will help so many people.
yeah.
um
I don't like a lot of liquid in my bag, so I tend to like empty every time I go for a pee if there's stuff
yeah.
in it. So it could be
Mhm.
third full, it could be two-thirds full,
Exactly.
or in the space of just eating, or in my
Yeah,
case, eating a Chinese. As soon as I eat a Chinese and I
yeah,
start to eat a Chinese, it's in my bag straight away.
yeah.
I'm like, I've
Hmm.
got a full bag. So at
Yeah,
different stages of the day, you're emptying different amounts. So
yeah,
this is a way of really tuning it in, and being aware of like what
yeah,
my body is losing, what fluid do I need to replace this with.
yeah, yeah.
So exciting times, really, really exciting times. I am delighted for you to see this come to full fruition now. That guy told you way back at the start, you can make anything if you're
Paul
passionate about
Healy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a guy. And I'm sure he's sitting back now going, I told you so.
Oh, he's amazing.
Um,
Paul is amazing. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's fabulous that you've had so many different people turn up in the last couple of years to help you at every stage of this, and it's just put the whole jigsaw together.
I think
And
that's the magic, to be honest, Nikki. I think
yeah,
that's the magic I'm so grateful for that. That
yeah,
it wouldn't be on the wall if I
yeah,
didn't have that. And
yeah,
and I truly believe now you're a part of that, where you showed up, and I think you're the perfect person to bring this to other people and show this installation for what it is. But
stop it,
I
like,
am so, so grateful for the people that have just showed up to help me, and the
yeah,
time that people have given me is unbelievable. So yeah.
yeah. Well, Carolyn, it has been absolutely fabulous. I just had this picture of, we're talking about that jigsaw, and I just see that jigsaw now as if it's being mounted on a wall and the frame being put around it. It's like ready for
Yeah.
everybody to see, and it's going to go out there. So, next stage is the installations, recording that and sharing it with the public, and then this summer ready for the launch
Yeah.
of to the public, which is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. So, guys, if you have any questions in the show notes, you will have the opportunity to put in any questions there. You can reach out to Carolyn in the group on social
Mhm.
media, or you can contact myself, and I will pass those questions on to Carolyn. If I don't have an answer, she certainly will have an answer, or she'll get you an answer.
Yep.
And if you have any questions on how you will be able to get this product, definitely join into the Ostomy Cube group there on Facebook. And there are grants and that available. And Carolyn's putting on that hat for a while
I
now
am.
that the
I
product
am.
is in
That's the
development.
next. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, hopefully this will be a product that is going to be accessible for the public and for you to have in your own home. So yeah, guys, that's it from us today. Carolyn, the pleasure has been all mine as always. So thank you for taking time out of your day to come and share your amazing product with us. And we wish you all the very best success moving forward. And yeah, let's manifest that worldwide Ostomy
Mm.
Cube vision that you have.
Yep.
So
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you
amazing.
so much, Nikki.
You're very welcome. Guys, do come back and join us next week for another episode. But from Carolyn and myself today, it is over and out.